guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's tutorial is going to be on this look that I am wearing right here. Makeup and hair, the whole shebang for you guys. I put up little polls on my Instagram yesterday, just kind of getting an idea of things that you guys want to see, because that is really important to me. As much as I want to put out content that I love, and I do love what I'm doing right now, I also want to get your guys' opinion, and I also want to put out stuff that you guys are going to enjoy and want to watch, especially with everything going on right now, stuff that's going to keep you guys happy and entertained. So that's just kind of what I was going about when I put up everything. I asked you guys like 25 million questions. For all of you who did answer, I love you and I appreciate you. So yes, this was one of the looks that I asked if you guys did want to see. Mainly was going for the hairstyle and the very sleek look. I was going to do the traditional soft glam eye, but one of my best friends gave me shit and says, "You're a fucking makeup artist. I'm tired of seeing your basic looks," so bet. So I decided to do something that was a little bit more avant-garde than just your basic winged eyeliner and basic to transition colors. So I hope she enjoys this. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys do want to see how I achieved this look, then keep on watching. Alright you guys, so I'm gonna start off with the brows. Her eyebrows are very light. They're nothing heavy. They're more so like really combed up and off to the side. But she does have a higher arch as well as that very lifted look. So I'll go ahead and kind of speed through this part and do this on camera. That way you guys can kind of get an idea of how I do them to try to mimic hers. Next part is a little bit important. I'm gonna go ahead in with concealer and just go ahead and just carve out more so the tail of my brow. You don't really need to do the front part, because if you look at hers, it's not super chiseled. It's just very like naturally defined up at the front, but she really has it more a little bit more snatched towards the end of the eye. Okay, so I just took some concealer and put it on the back of my hand. Don't mind these swatches. I was trying to figure out which color to put on the lid. And then I am going to take, I showed you guys in my last video, just a very, very little short, stumpy, flat defined brush. That way you can really get in there and carve that out with a nice fine line, instead of like, you don't want anything that's just gonna make a mess everywhere. We want it sleek and sharp. Okay, so if you guys have seen my video before, you guys already know the drill. Gonna go ahead and prime my eyelids with my favorite concealer. You can use whatever you would like to do to prime your lids. If you are going to use a concealer, I would suggest using something matte, especially if you do have oily eyelids, just because you do not want that product moving around all day. Especially with the colors we're gonna be going in with today, there's gonna be a lot of black on the eye, and the last thing you wanna do is for that to just separate and spread everywhere. You're gonna look like someone hit you in the dark, and you don't want that, so. Go ahead, prime your eyes, do what you need to do, and then we'll move on. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and actually shape out the eyeliner part. If you guys would like to, you can actually go ahead and use Scotch tape. I know that sounds very funny. A lot of people do it. You just take some tape and put it at the corner of your eye, and you kind of wanna have it going up towards the end of your brow. You don't wanna take it all the way up there, but somewhat to a slant. That way you can get that once you remove the tape, you're gonna have a sharp, perfect line. The only thing is, when creating that line going out, you wanna make sure to carve it, because in this photo, she does have it a little bit more rounded off at the top. I'm gonna freehand it, and the best way to do that with tape or without is you wanna go in with, it can be your favorite. You can use drugstore. I'm just gonna be using the one from Urban Decay. It's one of my personal favorites because they don't budge or move. But I'm gonna go ahead and from the corner of my eyes start to sketch out my line, and then go ahead and carve that in about halfway in. So it should look a little something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect when it comes to the inside, because you are going to go ahead and add your shadow to kind of deepen that up and blend it out. If you want as well, you're more than welcome to go ahead and fill in a little bit of what we've already created. Because like I said, you are going to go in with a little bit more of a smaller definer brush and some black eyeshadow and really buff that in to where you can bring it in as far as you would like for the look. And then we'll go ahead and add our other colors. Okay, so to go ahead and blend out the black that I've already got going on, I'm actually going to go ahead in with my Anastasia and the Amrezy collection palette. I'm just going to take their black. I'm going to take a really small defined brush. That way I can really go ahead and get in the detailed areas, because you don't want to use anything too big, because you can already picture how that's going to go, and that's going to make a whole mess. So I always say the darker the color, the smaller the brush you want to use. That way you can get it very precise and detailed and as close and sharp as you would like the look. Okay, so as you guys can see, like I said, I brought it a little bit halfway in. I kind of kept it into a curve motion, because that way when you pack your shadows in, it's not just straight across, and that way you can kind of blend the two colors together, because that's the last thing you want. This is already a very avant-garde look, and then when you start to get unblended little mojo going on, it's gonna look like a 3-year-old did your makeup, and you don't want that. I did also bring my shadow slash eyeliner a little bit further towards the lash line, as well as a little bit further towards halfway, just because in this look she does have a thin line of eyeliner. So once I go ahead and put my shadows on top of this, it's gonna kind of get rid of the line a little bit while still leaving a little intensity towards the lash line. But that way, if you would like to, you can go back in with your pencil and kind of deepen it up a little bit. Okay, so dipping back into my Anastasia palette for the lid, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade right here. It's like a bronzy gold color. She has something that has a little bit more silver like gold to it, which I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit silver from another palette once I add this color. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. And as far as like her eye goes, she has it more of like a wet type of look, so this is where I would say spraying your brush is definitely gonna come in handy. With this, you can just take whatever your favorite setting spray is. You want to go ahead and get the product on the brush, spray your brush, and then go ahead and just pat that into place. And you want to start from the corner of your eye and follow up to where you finish the end of the black eyeliner. Now there is going to be a little bit of space right here because the colors aren't blending together, and that's totally fine, because we're gonna go in with the Anastasia again, and we're gonna take this dark brown shade. I'm actually gonna mix these two together and blend those colors that I have to just make sure it's a very smooth transition. With this, it's to start to give you guys an ombre effect of your eyeliner look, the gold melting into the black. I also go in with my definer brush just to really blend out that edges and make sure everything flows together. For my eye, you can already see I still have a little bit black left over, like I said, because I still left that so that way it could kind of create a little bit of liner towards the towards my lash line. But if you would like, you can go back in with the pencil that you used and just kind of go back over that and use that black shadow to just get more of that defined eyeliner look if you would like. Or if you want, you can leave it like this and then go ahead and add whatever lashes you would like on top of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and deepen up the lash line with my liner, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side off camera really quick. Alrighty, so once you guys are done, your eyes should look something like this, hopefully. If you do mess up a few times and you have to redo it, or if you just like watching this, that's okay too. One thing I am going to add though, I'm going to add some glitter on top of this. I'm going to go in with a silver glitter. That way I can kind of get more of the effect that she has in the look. And she does have some glitter on her lid, and I'm not one to pass up an opportunity to put on glitter with an eye look, so we're going to go for it. I showed you guys this technique in one of my other videos. I guess it's not really like a cool technique, but if you don't want the glitter to be too heavy on the eyelid, scoop the brush on the back of your hand. That way you get the product on there, and then just go ahead and take a flat brush and just pack it on there. That way it will give you like a lighter, less heavier look than just high straight glitter. Again, unless that's the look you're going for, or we're doing drag, then fuck it, do it all. Okay, so I am going to go ahead, put my mascara on and do my eyelashes. I was going to use a heavier lash today, but just because the eye look is already heavy itself and I don't want to take away from that. You guys have seen a lot in my other videos. I'll typically just take the end of an eyelash, more like an accent piece, and just apply it on the outer part of the eye. That way too, it actually gives you more of a cat eye effect and gives your eyes more of that lifted look. So it kind of helps towards the look that we're going with today, because again, she has a very just like high, like I'm here, I'm sharp, like I don't need to sleep because I have so much Botox, and I mean that with all the love. Like, trust me, if I had Botox money, oh bitch, she would be cute. So for foundations today, I'm going to be using my trusty Lancome foundation, which is the Renergy foundation. I've mentioned this in videos previously. This one just gives you a dewy finish. It also has anti-aging ingredients in it, so that is definitely a really good benefit. But then I'm going to use something completely opposite, and that's terrible for your skin, just because this one, I hate to say it, MAC is terrible for your skin, but it looks fucking bomb. So I'm going to go ahead and mix these two, just simply because I am a little bit more tanner right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of deepen up the color, but also give myself a little bit more coverage because of, again, she's not cute. You guys are always asking me too, like, what my favorite foundations are in private and stuff like that, and it is really cute because a lot of you have actually gone out and bought the stuff that I suggested and loved it, which makes me even happier. But I'm always curious of like the things that you guys like. So if there's any like foundations or like eyeliners or fucking whatever it is that you guys have tried that like you absolutely love that I haven't gotten the bandwagon on or have not mentioned in any of my videos, definitely let me know in the comments below or on my Instagram, because I always love trying new things. And I definitely would like to put a video out there sometime soon of just myself doing a whole video of like new products that I have not tried or used before. I was even thinking of doing like a drugstore haul, like all my favorite drugstore products, because I feel like, especially with everything right now, I know money can be a little tight for people, but we also want to look ballin' while being, you know, trapped inside of our houses. So I definitely want to try to do something like that for you guys, so you guys can look like, you know, baller on a budget, as I like to say. So I feel like I've done this step a million times, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Going to go in with my concealer and just highlight the parts of my face. I feel like especially on the inner part of her face, it is very highlighted. Typically though, when you're doing your own face, you want to go about 2 shades lighter with your concealer and 2 shades darker with your contour. Unless you want it to be very, very prominent, then you can even go a 3rd shade lighter. But that's completely up to you. So I'm just going to go in with the concealer that I typically use. As far as like the contour goes, that's really where I'm going to go in and define my face and kind of bring the whole look together. But like I said, mainly in the front part, she's just like glowing. Another technique that you guys can use to brighten up the under eye would either be a brightening powder or whatever translucent powder you are using in the moment. You can actually just let it sit and bake under your eyes or around the areas of the face to really help brighten up and bring the whole look together. Now that I've got that blended out, I'm gonna go ahead and take my face from old Bella Hadid to new Bella Hadid. So I feel like cream contour too really helps, especially if you want a defined contoured look. It's actually a lot easier to work with than most people think. I will say the easiest form is going to be a stick. That way you can really concentrate where you want the product, instead of using something that's going to be a little bit more creamier. It can get a little bit messier, and when you're going to try to go ahead and blend it out, it can just really, really go crazy. So with this, you get a little bit more concentrated. I will say too, with this, you guys have seen me in my past videos, and I'll use it again, a little bit more of like a defined and like dense brush. Nothing that's going to be too sparing, because like I said, when you have something that's dense and concentrated, it's really going to be able to focus that product where you want it to be placed. When carving out my contour area too, I really want to follow the line from the top of my ear to about the corner of my mouth to really give yourself that defined look. If you want your cheekbones to look a little bit more lifted, you can always do from the corner of the mouth to the corner of the nose. That's something I've mentioned in my past videos, but because we want a really chiseled and sleek look, I'm going to really bring that down a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose as well because we all know Bella Hadid's nose is truly snatched to the gods. So I'm just gonna take a smaller definer brush close to the foundation brush that I use so I can really get that blended out in a smaller area, making sure the product stays where it needs to and blends out nice and smooth. This part is definitely really going to help bring the whole look together. So I'm going to go ahead and set my face. I know I mentioned baking earlier when I was putting on my contour. Like I said, this just really helps to kind of define and set all your lines and contour into place to really make sure everything looks sharp. Wow. Everything looks sharp and sleek and just really pulls the look together. Because like I said, she is snatched to the gods, and that is what we are trying to achieve today. So I'm just going to take the opposite side of my sponge that I have. So we have the concealer side and then I have my powder side. I'm going to go ahead and dip my sponge into my powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and start patting that into place just to set any areas that I would like. And then when it comes to carving out anything, just pack on the powder onto your sponge and then just go ahead and define that line. So with the nose, you want to go down. And then when you're doing the cheekbones, you want to start from the top of the ear and hit that corner of the mouth. I don't let it sit there too long though, because I know some powders, especially if you're buying powders that are a little bit more on the cheaper end, if you leave them on for too long, they look very, very white. And also too, you can also deal with that fear of having a little bit of flashback when you take photos. So you want to leave it on for about 30 seconds to a minute, which is essentially what I've had it on for now, and then just go ahead and sweep it away. Okay, so in this photo that I'm recreating, she does have her blush a little bit higher up, kind of like almost in the same area that she has her contour. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add my blush on top of where she has hers. Also, putting your blush a little bit higher up and closer in that area is gonna really help give that like lifted cheekbone, almost like that really high lifted face look. You guys know what I'm talking about. And of course, we cannot forget our highlighter because this bitch is glowing to the gods. You guys know, as always, going in with the Benefit Cookie Highlighter. This, again, if you guys have not tried, this is one of my favorite fucking highlighters. You literally look like, it's just like a wet, dewy, glowy. You know what I'm about. Like a wet. Another thing you guys can always do if you do want your highlighter to pop a little bit more is you can always go in and spray your brush with your setting spray. It's really going to give it even more of a glowy and a wet, dewy look. So if that's something you are definitely trying to achieve, because if your highlighter is not popping enough, you can definitely do that. Okay, gonna go back into the eyes just because she does have the bottom lash line smoked out pretty solidly. So I'm gonna go in with the eyeliner, the pencil liner that I use to create my liner on top. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this all in my waterline, and then I'm gonna take my black shadow and go ahead and smudge that out, but I'll show you guys how we do that. I did go ahead and add some too to the upper part of my waterline. Little pro tip, when adding black liner to the upper part of your eye when you have false lashes on, it actually helps them blend a little bit easier because it kind of minimizes that like little nude space that's in between. So if you really want your lashes to look blended, apply the liner on the inner part as well. Okay, because I don't want my shadow to get too messy, I'm gonna go in with a brush similar to the one that I used to do the carving of my brows. I'm also gonna use something that's just really flat and defined and small to really get in that area to smoke it out. That way it's not messy, because the last thing you want to do is look like a clown if you do not blend properly, and then your shadow falls and it just, the whole look is going to fall apart. So you definitely want something compact and dense. So with this, I'm going to pack the product onto my brush. Let me grab my palette. Then you definitely want to tap away any excess, especially when you're doing the waterline, or yes, do the waterline under eye. That's typically why I do my eyeshadow first, especially if you are going to be using dark colors, because the last thing you want to do is do your full face. It looks absolutely beautiful, and then you use all these dark colors and it has a bunch of fallout, and then you're fucked, and then you gotta redo the whole look, and that's just a waste and a pain in the ass. So with this part, you definitely want to be a little bit more delicate. Something that I do when I'm working on clients myself is I'll actually take a tissue and I'll hold it under their eye if I'm doing something after I've done the face, just lightly. That way too, all the fallout gets on the tissue, and the tissue doesn't transfer any product that I've put on their face onto my hands or the tissue or anything like that. Their face is still gonna look flawless. Okay, so for this look, she does have a pinky nude lip going on, so you guys already know the deal. I'm going to go in with my NYX Cosmetics lip pencil. This one is called the Slide On Glide On Stay and Definitely a Turn On Waterproof Lip Liner. That's why it's one of my favorites. This and the Urban Decay lip liners are phenomenal, and the Lancome ones, because they all are completely waterproof, so they're not going to budge or move, especially if you're someone too who does overdraw their lips. You ever notice when you overdraw sometimes, and then like after a while, if you're like sweating or anything like that, it starts to separate at the top, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole overdrawing thing. Well, these guys don't. That's what I really like about it. If I do overdraw, whatever I put it on at the beginning of the day, it still looks the same at the end. It's not anything crazy, especially too if I'm wearing reds. That's when it separates the most, so I definitely don't have that problem with these guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this. This is more of like a brown nude, but in the center of her lip she has more of like a pinky peach nude. So I'm gonna go in with my Tardiest liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade, I want to say it's Goals. Yeah, Goals. So I'm gonna go ahead and define my lips. With hers, I'm not going to overdraw too much, but I am going to really define my Cupid's bow, because as you see in a lot of her pictures, she doesn't really have that rounded off top. Her lips are just like very defined, especially her Cupid's bow area. Okay, so for the hair portion of it, I will suggest either a flat iron or a curling iron. I'm going to use a flat iron for this. And then you definitely want to grab some hairspray, whatever hairspray you want to use. I'm using the one from Redkins. It's just one of my favorites. You want a bungee cord or two just regular hair ties. You also want somewhat of either like a teasing comb or the reason why I said boar brush in my last video, just because this really helps like slick back the hair, especially if you're doing any like sleek ponytails or you know, middle parts, anything like that. This is just going to really help define and pull the whole look together, because a hair, or like a regular hairbrush does help, but this really gives it that sleek look. So I'm going to go ahead and part my hair. Just a little bit though, because I'm really just parting it just so I can get the bang portion of this look. And you just want to take a small piece of hair and pin that away, so that way we can really work on the ponytail. Just want to go ahead and start brushing your hair back. With this part too, I would definitely suggest straightening your hair a little bit before you do this look, so that way if you're someone who does have like frizzy hair, curly hair, things like that, it's gonna just help make the look a little bit sleeker. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to put my hair in the form of a ponytail. Slowly but surely just kind of start brushing it up until I get it to the desired height that I would like. You don't need to have it super high like I typically do my Ari ponytails, but decently high to where it's not sitting too low on the back of your head, but that way you can still see it. Okay, so now that I've got all my hair brushed back, I'm gonna go ahead and take some hairspray and go ahead and spray everything, and then I'm going to go in with this brush to really help push everything back and make sure it's really just smooth and sleek. Unlike last time, I feel like I did a tutorial and that shit was all over the place. Okay, so once you guys get your hair to the height and just all smooth it out, you want to go ahead and go in with your bungee cord. Why bungee cord is a little bit easier to work with when you're doing a ponytail and you want everything to be sleek versus just a regular hair tie, because when you wrap the bungee cord around, it, you know, helps from making any mistakes. That way your hair doesn't bump up or anything like that, because when you go in with a regular hair tie, you leave room for mistakes. I'm gonna take the first hook and I'm gonna apply that towards the back, and I'm just going to wrap that around. Now I'm going to take my next hair tie once I've gotten that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add a tiny bit of space between the two. That way when you do wrap your hair around, it helps give a little bit of height. I do have a hairpiece that I could use, but if you're someone like me who has like thick fucking hair, you really don't need it unless you want the effect of that like really faux flawless ponytail. But for today's look, I'm just gonna actually just be using my original hair. So I'm going to take a piece from underneath, and then I'm just gonna go ahead, typically like I would my faux ponytails, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap that around the base where I have my hair ties so it hides everything. So once I've got that where I got it, I'm gonna go ahead and bobby pin it into place now. And then to make sure it's not gonna move or go anywhere, I'm just gonna go ahead and hairspray it. So when you're done, it typically should look a little something like this. And this is when you're gonna go in with your flat iron or your curling iron, and you're gonna go ahead and curl all of your hair towards your face. Okay, so now that I have my hair flipped to the desired flipping point that I want it to, I'm gonna go ahead and take my bangs out and straighten those guys. So with hers, she just has it put behind her ears. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure that it is sleeking into place. Now that I've got that laid flat, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it with hairspray. Alright you guys, so this is the completed look, hair, makeup, and everything. I went ahead and added some earrings just because I felt like I needed to make the look a little bit more bougie. But yeah, this is what you guys should come up with. If you guys do end up recreating this look, please tag me in them. I absolutely love when you guys tag me in your guys' photos or videos. I think it is the cutest thing ever, and it makes my heart so happy. But yes, I hope you guys stayed with me through this whole video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more of these videos or just to see my lovely face, definitely like, subscribe, join my big old little family that I got going on over here. And yeah, you guys know me. I don't want to keep rambling, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. You see that, how dramatic? Tell me why the song from Brother Bears is stuck in my fucking head right now. That's the motherfucking C, bitch. Why spend $4.55 on iced coffee when you can make it at your house for free, bitch? I know I say sleek and snatched a lot in this video, but I mean, look at Bella Hadid. Fucking perfect. How am I supposed to look like a fucking model when I look like fucking Hobbit the Clown just fucking came out the wood caves and shit? Like, what is that?